Hello and welcome to this month's Chatterbooks. We are exploring the strange and spooky world of Halloween, scary stories, werewolves, vampires, ghosts, and things that go bump in the night. Woo! Over 2,000 years ago, the ancient Celts celebrated the festival of Samhain. It marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter. On this day, they believed that the veil between the living and the dead grew thin enough so they could see ghosts and things that were invisible. By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic lands, and over the course of 400 years, two Roman festivals, Faria, traditionally celebrated the passing of the dead, and Pomona, a day to honour the goddess of trees and fruit, combined with the Shorn to make a super festival. By the 9th century AD, Christianity had swept through the Celtic lands, where it gradually began to be the main religion of the area. This did not stop the Shorn, but it gradually blended in to Christianity and the Christian calendar. However, wanting to replace the Shorn, in 1000 AD, the Christian Church made November the 1st All Souls' Day, a day to honour the dead. Similar to the Shorn, there were big bonfires, parades and dressing up in costumes. Quite often, All Saints' Day was also called All Hallows, and the night before it, which is traditionally the night of the Shorn, began to be called All Hallows' Eve, and this eventually became Halloween. Over the centuries, Halloween has changed from how they originally celebrated the festival to what we know it now. For trick-or-treating, carving pumpkins, costumes, apple bobbing, scary tricks, and of course, sweets and treats of every kind. What I love about Halloween is the scary, ghostly, atmospheric stories, and I especially love reading about witches. Let's jump into something warmer and brighter so I can talk about some of my favourite books. Phew! I'm glad to be out of that cupboard, and now I can tell you about my favourite Halloween books. Now, it just so happens there seems to be a bit of a theme going on with my favourite Halloween books, but having said that, I'm fairly sure you can find some as well. I thought I'd start off with my absolute favourite. This isn't scary by any means, but it's something I grew up with when I was a kid, and that is The Worst Witch. It's my favourite witch book of all time because it's not about horrible, scary stuff, but more about kindness. And I love the fact that Maud is a very, very kind person in this book, and you don't get that very often. And I'm glad that Miss Cackle's Academy for Witches is very traditional, and poor Maud, although she is very kind, she is also totally accident prone, which I can very much agree with because I am very much accident prone like her. The adventures are quite fun, and it is well worth a read if you don't want something scary, but just a little bit on the spooky side. So that's my first witch book. Now, my second book, which I have to say, I watched the film when I was a child, I've read the book so many times, it still gives me goosebumps, and that is Roald Dahl's The Witches. Have you ever read it? Man, it is super scary when you watch the film and they get all their hands and nails and all that kind of stuff out, and their wigs. Oh, the film is quite scary, but the book actually is very different to the film in some respects. And I love The Witches for the fact that scary, witchy things happen, but good can triumph over evil. Although, again, very much on the spooky side. So I'm really glad that we have kind of like a scarier witch book to go with the kind of friendlier witch book. So if you like reading about witches, do recommend reading both of these. Slightly less scary, definitely very scary. And it's okay if you don't like scary, because I don't like scary too either. And I really don't like the Goosebumps series, because that's too scary for me. But don't tell anyone I said that. So, got two books to recommend. Now, the third book I want to recommend, I picked this thinking, Oh, it's not going to be about witches, it's about Christopher Pumpkin. This is a fantastic picture book because I really like pictures. I don't know about you, but I love books that have pictures in it to give a little bit extra for your imagination. But Christopher Pumpkin it's not scary either, I have to say. Picking books for scary is very hard, but Christopher Pumpkin is great because it is a bit about scariness, because Christopher is made by a witch, hence again the witch theme. I didn't realise it when I picked it, and I had a read and it's fantastic. And Christopher is a very kind pumpkin again. You can kind of see the theme going on a little bit again. And he is helping the witch set up for the scariest party ever. Now all the other pumpkins are putting all crazy, weird, horrible things up, but Christopher, on the other hand, is putting up bunting and pretty pink things. Now the witch has basically threatened that if he doesn't make something scary, she is going to turn him into a pumpkin pie. I don't want to spoil what the ending's like, but let's just say it's very scary. So now you've seen 3 of my books for Halloween that I'm going to read. What are you going to read for Halloween? Are you going to read a scary book like The Witches by Roald Dahl, or something scarier? Are you going to read about werewolves, ghosts, things that go bump in the night? Or are you going to go for something that's a little bit spooky, like The Witches or I'm Into Spook? Or are you going to go for something funny, like Christopher Pumpkin, where there's a little bit of a scare, but not too much? Let me know in the comments what you're going to go for. So I've got 2 ideas for you to do if you'd like to do them this month. First of all, if you'd like to, draw me a scene from your favourite scary book. Or if you're feeling particularly brave, why don't you write me a really scary story and post it in the comments. It doesn't have to be long, but it does have to be a bit scary. Not too scary though, because I really don't like scary books and I want to sleep at night, if that's okay with you. Now, just in case, shh, don't tell anyone, I've got an extra story to show you. Dracula Spectacular. This is really fun. It's not scary at all. Don't tell anyone I said that, but this is all about a vampire. Ha, I've broke the theme of witches. But Dracula Spectacular is all about a little boy vampire who is born into a vampire family, and they are evil and wicked, but the little boy really just wants to have colour in his life because all they wear is black, black and black. Whereas he wants to have colour, beautiful, wonderful colour. And it's all about how he finds happiness and how his parents find happiness with him. So have a go with that, but don't tell anyone I've given you a 4th book about that you can read. So just before I go, I'm going to give you one last sneaky task, and that is to comment in the comments below about what scary book you're going to be reading this month. And I will see you next time. Bye bye!